Hey, Patrick, thanks for your work in week 8. Wanted to send you a reply here on a couple things. First of all, on this really challenging reading by Agamben, and I appreciate you taking a stab at how how to understand what he's saying about faith in relation to law. And my sense of his basic claim, and he's doing a kind of, you might say, genealogy of these concepts in Romans and in the kind of ancient world that it arises from. But my understanding is that faith, according to Agamben, is a kind of deep bond that underlies any sort of legal constitution or contract. So wherever there is a law, it is actually predicated on a deeper connection or commitment between the parties of that law, and that this is what faith is about. And for Paul, then, he's claiming for the audience that the relationship that gives life, the fulfillment of promised inheritance, etc., between God and Israel is a relationship of faith. Faith is at the heart of it. Um, sort of a commitment that is not measurable by any legal contract, and therefore the basis of any law that might arise from it. So the concern then is not to pretend to replace that underlying bond between God and Israel that is by faith with some sort of version of the law or a law that would condition that relationship of faith. So hopefully that makes sense. And we can sort of continue thinking about whether or not that helps us follow Paul's argument. Now, the second thing I wanted to address is what you're saying about this key paragraph in Romans 10, because I think you are on the right track. And what I want to sort of highlight is that this is something that I think Paul is trying to impress upon the audience in the course of an argument that is urging them against being arrogant towards these relatives of his that are hostile to them, and to recognize that they themselves, as non-Jewish people, have been embraced in this family by this faith that God has given them. Confession that Jesus is Lord, uh, believing in the heart that God raised him from the dead. This is not something that's measurable, you might say, in the body as fulfilling certain terms or meeting conditions prescribed by the law or something along those lines. So I think the point is that the way they themselves have been welcomed is to inform how they are patient and even hospitable with these enemies that they have still in the people of God that has welcomed them. So that's kind of the force of the argument, as I understand it, as opposed to Paul kind of laying out, here are the terms of the contract. These are the terms that you've met, and now you got to make sure that everybody else meets those terms, kind of transaction where we meet the condition of faith, and in exchange for that, God saves us. So hopefully that's helpful. Thanks again for your work in week 8, and looking forward to the last couple of weeks of work in the class with you.